Hi, I'm Lisa of Simply Bowen Therapy. Those who know me and follow the Simply Bowen Therapy Facebook page know that I'm a bit of a hiker. Most weekends I'll go out hiking or walking somewhere, and so guaranteed the Simply Bowen Therapy Facebook page will see photos of me out in the bush somewhere on a Monday morning. So it's no surprise that I'm part of a Facebook group that's about hiking and bushwalking in Australia. Talk about all sorts of things on there, all sorts of things are discussed, places, what packs to buy, what sleeping bags, what boots to get, the list goes on. But recently the topic of plantar fasciitis came up on the forum, and what boots did people recommend for those hikers who suffer from plantar fasciitis? As per the poster's request, there was various brands of boots that were suggested that they try. And then all sorts of suggestions started to be given about how to help the plantar fasciitis. Many of the people focused on the problem area of the foot. Wear orthotics, strap your feet before hiking, roll the bottom of your foot on ball, ice packs on the bottom of your feet. Someone even suggested sucrose injections. I need to look that one up. Anyway, problem with all these suggestions is they're really just addressing the symptoms. They're not really looking at the cause. A few others on the forum started to recognise that, and they started to weigh in with some different suggestions. They recognised that plantar fasciitis is not a foot problem, it's a whole body problem, and that you need to rectify the cause of which is likely not the foot. Yoga was suggested by many, as well as saying good stretching routines go and get you right for any kind of walking and avoiding injuries. Others suggested gait analysis. I, of course, weighed in with some suggestions, and one person interested in Bowen therapy even tracked me down from my comments, going through my personal Facebook page and through to my website. Anyway, it's typical of many conversations. There's the place where the pain is felt, and then there's the area that's causing the problem, and they're generally not the same place. But as part of those conversations on Facebook, some lucky people had never heard of plantar fasciitis, and some pretty good explanations followed from people. But let's go back to basics. Fascia is the connective tissue that runs throughout the body, covering muscles and makes its way into tendons and ligaments. Anything that has itis on the end means inflammation. So fasciitis means inflammation of the fascia. Now, the plantar surface of the foot is the sole, so plantar fasciitis is inflammation of the connective tissue in the sole of the feet. Now, the plantar fascia is a thick, fibrous connective tissue. It runs under the foot from the heel to the toes. It functions as a type of shock absorber to the foot when you're moving, walking, running, but it's really quite rigid material. And so if too much traction is put on the plantar fascia, trauma, such as an accident or overdoing it, may result in micro tears of the fascia. And those micro tears result in inflammation and pain. Inflammation is the body's natural way of trying to protect itself. When an injury occurs, the body responds. Blood flow is increased to the injured area, the heel in this instance, sending cells to start a healing process that might continue for days, weeks, months, but provided there's not a continued re-injury of the area. Now, if the plantar fasciitis is subject to repetitive stress, that plantar fascia may become not inflamed, but degenerated, kind of the result of ongoing, untreated plantar fasciitis. Now, the correct term for this is actually plantar fasciosis, which you don't hear very often, but those who've impacted or experienced this type of chronic injury usually find it's still just called plantar fasciitis anyway. If plantar fasciitis injuries continue, some people might also develop a heel spur. The body deposits calcium near the heel in an attempt to repair detached fibers in the heel. But many people who have heel spurs don't actually feel pain from them. However, it is a sign that the problem has been there for an extended time. So what does plantar fasciitis feel like? Now, plantar fasciitis usually causes pain in the heel of the foot. For some, it might be felt in the arch area or other parts of the sole of the foot, but heel pain is the most common location. The heel might have mild swelling. The pain tends to be worse in the mornings or after resting. The first few steps out of bed could feel intense, like there's a knife sticking into the bottom of the foot. But it does improve with activity as the feet warm up. For many, the pain might also be felt after long periods of standing or starting to move after being seated for a time. If you're doing sport and suffer from plantar fasciitis, the heel pain usually makes itself known after exercise, but not normally during. And if the plantar fasciitis has gone untreated for an extended time to plantar fasciosis, then heel pain might also be felt at the end of the day. Although plantar fasciitis can affect both feet, it's much more common to have it in only one foot at a time. Plantar fasciitis is most commonly seen in people with poor foot biomechanics that put stress on the plantar fascia. Flat feet, weak foot arches, and overpronation are the most common causes due to overstretching of the plantar fascia. There's some risk factors associated with this, of course. Some sports, such as running, walking, or dance, that put stress on the heel bone and the attached tissue increase the risk of plantar fasciitis. And that's especially the case if the intensity of exercise is suddenly increased. While it might seem counterintuitive to some, plantar fasciitis is associated more with those who tend to toe run rather than a heel running style. And that's due to the commonly seen tight calf muscles and ankle problems that limit ankle movement. Activities or jobs that require a lot of walking or standing on hard surfaces can lead to stress and fatigue of foot muscles. Carrying additional weight, such as being overweight or even in the latter stages of pregnancy, can also increase the strain and the stress on the plantar fascia. The feet have a natural inbuilt shock absorber, it's the arches. But with a lack of arch, or arches that are weak or overpronate, additional strain is placed on the plantar fascia that absorbs the force instead. Now, shoes that provide little or no support put strain on the plantar fascia. Despite being fashionable, ballet flats, Converse sneakers, and thongs or flip-flops, depending on your country, are just not good for feet. All these shoes are thin-soled and have no arch support. Thongs or flip-flops also alter walking patterns, further changing the foot's biomechanics. High heels can also encourage the Achilles tendon to shorten, adding additional strain on heel tissue. And also note that sports shoes do not provide support forever. Bowen therapy is a very gentle form of bodywork. Small, gentle, precise moves are made on muscles, tendons, ligaments and nerves, triggering the body to begin a healing process. The treatment initiates changes in the body that may continue for up to a week. Bowen influences the body through the connective tissue known as fascia, and fascia plays a major role in muscle coordination, postural alignment, and the overall structure and functional integrity of the body. A Bowen treatment aims to help the body as a whole, helping bring the body back into balance while also addressing the injury or pain site. Posture and compensatory patterns are also assessed by most Bowen therapists to ensure the right treatment is done to ensure the problem has a high chance of staying resolved. Many on the hiking Facebook forum were on the right track. Ice packs or rolling the sole of the foot on a ball will give relief to the symptoms, but it won't resolve the problem. Stretching and or yoga are also fantastic for maintaining good posture and gait, but it might take a long time to get to that resolution. With foot mechanics being the primary cause of plantar fasciitis, helping the foot going back into alignment is a key goal of any treatment. And that's where Bowen helps plantar fasciitis, between the ice for the symptoms and the stretching for maintenance. Bowen helps to bring the entire body into balance. And when the pelvis, legs and feet are helped back into alignment, gait is improved and the plantar fasciitis won't be re-injured. Feet, though, are often the victim of a culprit elsewhere in the body. Pelvic misalignment through an impact in the lumbar spine, short hip flexors or tight hamstrings may all play a part in how the legs move. Knee and ankle alignment further influences how the feet land and the amount of strain felt on the sole and the arch. Of the many people I've helped with plantar fasciitis, all have had clear improvements, although with various speeds of recovery. I still recall one coming in, almost bragging about how thick and damaged his plantar fascia was. According to the ultrasound technician who checked his feet, they're the worst they've ever seen, I was told. But within a single treatment to help balance the pelvis, I didn't even touch his feet. It had a significant reduction in his pain. The following week was, well, what can you do for my shoulder now? Resolution in a single treatment is not the norm, however, especially if the plantar fasciitis has been a problem for a while, in which case it's more correctly plantar fasciosis. Many will need a few treatments with time and exercises to help the body learn and maintain a new posture. Walking that will feel different with the change to alignment and gait needs to start to feel normal so that the feet can remain pain-free as you're walking in a new state that's not going to re-injure. I hope you've enjoyed learning a bit about plantar fasciitis. Head over to my Facebook page and check out my hiking photos, and feel free to share some of your photos of your hikes as well.